I think it's just about like getting out and hiking while fat, which is great. You know, it's got like gear tips and just like confidence stuff. And yeah, I mean, the organization is based in the Pacific Northwest, but it's also they have chapters all over the country and in Canada now. So, and I think even in Europe, which is wild. Filters, circle time. Okay. We should hike together. I think you meant to say hike. Yeah, we should hike together. B and I love hiking, but we haven't gone as much the last few years. Yeah. So right before the pandemic, you know, I'd been following the Fat Girls Hiking Instagram and being like, oh, as soon as there's one that I can go to, I want to go. March 2020. Like early March. Like March 1st, I think it was. We went to Cape Disappointment, had a hike, spent all day by the beach, saw a lighthouse. Just a bunch of fat people hiking together. Not feeling like you're not going fast enough. Like it was just such a cool community space to be part of, and like in a beautiful place. And I was just like, this is brilliant. They were gonna do a camping trip in May of 2020, and I was like, oh, absolutely, as soon as I can, I'm gonna do that. Of course it got canceled, and they've only done one hike since, and I missed it. So I'm hoping that they will do another one soon, because it was super awesome. Yeah, it was really great. I love it. I'm very upset because I realized at the end of the last stream, that I had game audio off like the entire time. And the vibes in this game are so cool. Like, it's so unfortunate. So definitely play it if you have a chance. I might have some cocoa because it's slowly getting cold. But how are you doing today, Jellyfish? Oh yeah, so many good hikes. I love where we live. It's so nice. Okay. I'm gonna try and alert again because they weren't working. There we go.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I've had, I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
Yay, we did it. It works now. Jellyfish says, I'm okay. I woke up super late because my sleep schedule is trash as usual. Oh, sorry, friend. I also strained my neck, upper back earlier in the week, so I'm nursing that. No. Can't really complain, though. Sitting by the fire with my cat and a book. B went to band practice. The last time I strained my back, like I threw out my back, I was, I picked up a plate off of a table, like just a plate. And my partner was off playing a gig. Like a big gig at like House of Blues or something. And so I couldn't get in touch with them. So I just was like, okay, I'm just going to get to the bed and lay here. It's terrible. So I hope that it sounds like you're just chilling and resting that, and that's awesome. What book are you reading? You know, I gotta know. And then you know what? Just because, since David earlier did the gum one, let's get weird with it.
I've got good news. That the mule wash is going to come back in style.
Yes. It's my favorite show. Once again, I will say we are going to, I think most of y'all are in the Discord, but we'll be watching the pilot on Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in my Discord. I love this show. I just really want to share with people and watch it again. The reason that Twin Peaks, that oh, I've heard about that. Nice. Oh, you probably finish it. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Nice. I just put on hold Gideon the Ninth and The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. So those are my 2 that I'm gonna hopefully pick up maybe early next week. I don't know. Okay. I had to rush through the last book I read because literally I hadn't read it. I got a notification saying you can't renew this book. This will not be automatically renewed. You can't renew it. It has to be turned back in. I got that notification on January 31st that it was due on the 2nd or the 3rd. And I hadn't started reading it and I was like, shit. Oh no. So luckily it was a novella, so it was fairly short. But I just like sat there and was like just reading it. And I got done. Ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to press play. A bobby pin. Limits and demonstrations. Wall text. Limits and demonstrations. That last book that I read was really good. Plus the Twin Peaks books that I've been reading are really good. But yeah, that book was called Grievers by Adrienne Marie Brown. Very good. Highly recommend. Very timely. But yeah, really good. But that was the one that I couldn't renew. Making sure desktop audio is not muted again, because that's the last thing we want. Okay. Alula Chamberlain Retrospective. Marking the first major public showcase of her work in over 20 years, this retrospective exhibition of work by pioneering installation artist Alula Chamberlain comprises a diagonal slice through time, place, and form. Oh, yeah. The pieces on display here were individually debuted over a period of 35 years, designed in Chamberlain's various homes and studios between her beloved Mexico City and her native Elizabethtown. Every time I see that town name, I think about that terrible movie with Orlando Bloom in it, and that I absolutely had to watch it because it had Orlando Bloom in it, even though it was terrible, because I was a teenager. Or am I like, yeah, I was a teenager and I was like, I will watch literally everything this man is in. Please. So every time I see the town name, I think of that terrible movie. They represent a range of scale and impact, from the intimate warmth of vertex texture fetch to the infamous visage. I always say that in the French way. Oh, the movie, it's literally called Elizabethtown. And it's terrible. It's visage. I always say visage. the latter of which requires a vertical clearance of over 30 feet. Yet these works share a confounding legacy. In each of their debut exhibitions, they were nearly impossible to install. Galleries and museums balked at the scale, power requirements, and highly skilled labor involved in maintaining these works for display. Some of their debuts collapsed under the weight of logistics, only to be successfully executed much later. And so, just as they describe the outer limits of Chamberlain's range as an installation artist, the geographical edges and vertices of her itinerant home life and the beginning and end of her distinguished career, the works on display here also trace the extremes of our capabilities and the frontiers of our patience as both viewers and exhibitors. That was a long one. I gotta take a drink of water. I have a vague memory of the title, but I have no idea what it's about. You know, it's very similar to Garden State in a lot of ways. In the plot. Like, I feel like, I don't really remember, but there's some sort of tragedy that happens in this guy's family. And he has to go back to his hometown. And he's like, oh, I don't want to go. This is terrible. I live in, like, New York, and I'm very, successful and rich and stuff, and I want to go back. Then he meets a lady, and, typical. It was a Cameron Crowe movie, I think, so. I mean, kind of, yeah. Very similar. I think they probably came out, that one probably came out a couple of years after Garden State. Okay. Now, are we capable of viewing these works as they were meant to be viewed? Do we even want to be? Hello? Title card, Basement Puzzle Number 2. Artist, Sunset, and Horse, 1976, plaster and wire. What do you think she means by puzzle? Yeah, weird. I guess it's something you can solve? They must be symbols. Artist, sunset, horse. Or it's an anagram or like a code. Maybe it's not a puzzle, but it's just about a puzzle? Maybe it's a puzzle, but there's no right answer. That is kind of sad. Whoa, it's pretty cool though. Title card, overdubbed Nam June Paik installation in the style of Edward Packer, 1965, 1973, 1980. Magnetic tape, handheld tape playback head, speaker system, voice of the artist, computer synthesized speech. Oh, I read about this one. It's interactive. How does that work? It's a bunch of old tape, and you run this tape playback head along it and just listen to the recordings, I guess. Let's try it out. I think you start in the middle. As Bob drags the playback head along the tape, a woman's voice issues unsteadily from the speakers. Lula, we start in the middle. Donald and Joseph are in the hallway. I am in an office. The walls are lined with filing cabinets. A few drawers hang open. The door is ajar. Massive computer looms in the corner. There are some punched cards on the floor. A synthetic voice recording, spliced awkwardly into the tape, lists out options in monotone. To examine cards, rotate 30 degrees and advance 7 inches. To leave room, rotate 17 degrees and advance 4 inches. To activate computer, rotate 200 degrees and advance 15 inches. Ooh. Or look at the cards. Bob moves the playback head to another strip of tape. Encoded in the holes punched through these cards is a first draft of the poetic subsystem. I can't read punched cards by sight. Donald can, I think. Anyway, this version was pretty underwhelming. To leave room, rotate 17 degrees and advance 4 inches. To activate computer, rotate 200 degrees and advance 15 inches. Bob moves the playback head to another strip of tape. So loud, I love it. I am now holding 2 punched cards. On one of them, Joseph has scribbled a note. Caves. The other is blank. To insert caves card, rotate 11 degrees and advance 2 inches. To insert blank card, rotate 95 degrees and advance 14 inches. Caves card. We're on a dirt trail in the park. Or, well, it's not really a trail. It's a trail! It's more like a tendency. There tend to be fewer plants here on the path we've been walking. Walking sounds. Now, we're walking at the edge of a massive hole. The dirt gives way to mossy rock as the ground sinks into darkness. Joseph and Donald are following a rope down into the cave. They have computer equipment tied to their backs, so do I. To enter the cave, rotate 65 degrees left and advance 4 inches. Enter the cave. That's the only choice? Yeah, that's the end of that one. So 65 degrees, 4 inches. That's the last trip. So everything's down here now. The final resting place. Don't be so morbid. To remember a fond gesture, rotate 180 degrees and advance 23 inches. To regret a harsh word, rotate 12 degrees and advance 6 inches. Huh. This is so interesting. Remember, it's morning now. I'm in the car. I'm driving to work. This is the last recording I'll make on this tape, and then I'll drop it in the mail tomorrow, and then who knows. I've been recording onto this tape for 15 years, I think. A lot of other things happened, so here's a story. When I met Donald and Joseph, they were both students, and I was in a band performing on campus. They came to my show, and then we met at some bar and had a few drinks together. Joseph wanted to impress me, so he stole a metal cocktail tumbler and gave it to me. We got kicked out, wandered drunkenly until morning, and finally ended up at a diner. And now I use the tumbler to store extra pens on my desk. So I'm almost out of tape. I guess I'll just let it run out while I drive. Hey, go back a bit. Maybe we missed something. Really? We've gone so far. Yeah, let's go back. Is there anything else we can do here? No, that's the end of this tape strip. I don't think we ever reached this long one at the top here. Is it cheating to skip over there? I won't tell a soul. Bob moves the playback head to another strip of tape. Think of our work, our research. You'll die in these damned cold caves. And what about those men? You know they'll come back. We'll go deeper, that's all. They'll never find us. Did you hear their voices? They'll find you. But not me. I'm going back to the surface. Stop. Your stupid fight is ringing through the whole damn cave. Joseph is right. We can't stay here. I'm leaving too, but I'm not going back to the surface. I'm taking my station wagon and I'm heading down the zero. You'll be lost forever. But we need your voice for the machine, Lula. It only recognizes your voice. I'll send you this tape when I'm done recording. I'll put it in the mail, and then you can see what your damn machine does with it. Oh. Damn. It's interesting that the configuration of people that we have is the same as the artist and in the tapes and stuff. It's interesting. Whoa. Visage, 1984, unknown media. What kind of machines are those? Looks like Yeah, teletype terminals and an old PDP tape cabinet, I think. Or something from that period. My uncle used those to slice a visage to build a visage. A puzzle to its owner. What? It's a poem I read. I think it was written by a computer. Sounds like it. What does that look like to you? Sometimes I see a person with glasses, and then other times I see like a profile. Sometimes I see it head on. Weird. Cool. Weird. This is like where we left off at the last part of the game. Was in a house with this woman we just met and went through a freaking mine with. And we just repaired the TV, and when we looked at the TV, it showed us the on-ramp to Kentucky Route Zero. Vertex texture fetch. Tree, television, and suspended cathode ray tube. 1968, found materials. Bob, this seems like your kind of thing. Oh yeah, I love this one. So domestic, but so weird. Guess I'm just really into weird domestic these days. Whoa. Spinning coin, suspended, corrected for angular motion, 1976, found material. It feels so strangely alive. Yeah, like it's about to fall over. You mean the coin's about to fall over? I've been looking at the coin too, but I can't really tell what kind of coin it is. My uncle used to collect coins. Did I tell you that? He was crazy for him. Really obsessed. This coin actually doesn't look real. I think it's plastic. I feel really drawn to it, but it just makes me nervous. Yeah, I guess we just go to the exit then. So we looked at all of them. Ooh, that sound. Yeah, I guess I'm ready to go. Yeah, I need to get to work anyway. Whoa. Whoa, that was it? I kind of want to check on Steam and see, like, if I messed up. If there's supposed to be more to it than that. I'm just checking. I just want to make sure. Interesting. Okay. So that's only part of Act 2. So that was just part, yeah, that was just part of it. Whoa. That was like an interstitial, I think. Like an intermission. Attention, Alula Chamberlain, regarding your application. Oh, that was the artist. Thank you for your application to the Gaston Trust for Imagined Architecture's annual fellowship. We received a record number of applications this year. Ugh, this sounds like a rejection. Over 100 in total, and regrettably we can award only one fellowship position per year. As you know, our review process includes a multi-phase blind committee analysis of portfolio submissions, as well as a careful review by a panel of subject matter experts on each applicant's notability and relevance in the field. We must be extremely selective in our process so as to maintain the standards we have established over our 35 years in operation. Our panel did not select your application. Ooh, that last sentence just like, ugh, dang. We encourage you to consider reapplying next year. Many young artists and architects reapply for a few successive years before being accepted. Sincerely, Dr. Carl Stone Norden, Architect, Gaston Trust for Imagined Architecture. Below the printed text is a hastily handwritten note. Sorry for the condescending form letter. Love your work. Unfortunately, I just do the mail here. Your obedient servant, Robert. Lula. Folds the letter up and puts it in her handbag. Lula opens a folder on her desk labeled Proposals. Lula opens a folder of writing paper on her desk. Maybe writing paper. To herself quietly. Dearest Robert, thank you for your kind note. Dr. Stone Norden regarding your own imagination. Though it has been years since my name appeared in a gallery program, except as an occasional dusty curiosity in a group show or as the impertinent subject of some misguided retrospective, I continue to... something. Gratitude. Yours in situ, Lula. Rick clears his throat. Busy? It's not important. Should I say it's not important, buried, or how are you, Rick? It's not important. Oh, okay, great. Really great. I mean, sorry, that's not what I meant. Did you get my note? Hi, Neki. How are you today? Do you think Lula would know? I think she, well, yeah, I was, okay, gotcha. Well, hey, I'm not here to rush you. So how did your application go? I was in the mailroom and I saw you got a letter back. Sorry, I don't mean to pry, I just saw. It's fine, Rick. I'm not going anywhere. How's your goldfish? Ooh. Those office convos. Hello? Act 2, Scene 1. Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Oh, it's us again. So this is us. Our name is Cool. I forget what our name is. But this is Shannon. This is our dog, Blue. We're definitely going to talk to the dog first. Because, hello. This is my stream. We always talk to the dog first. Conway. Get a good rest in the truck? Yeah, I know you live a drive. I do too, usually. Didn't we just pass this place? I don't think the Zero operates like the roads we're used to. I don't understand it either. So what is this place? It looks like an office building. Looks like a cathedral. It looks like an office building to me, from what I can see. Oh, it looks like I picked the wrong answer. Nikki says, I got a game. It's musical. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, what is it called? It's the big drum, the drums, right? Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, probably not a good idea to do a rhythm game before bed. So cool, yeah. Taiko drums. That's what I was trying to say. This is weird, but do you think we're inside or outside right now? Both. Okay, very poetic. Well, maybe someone around here has a better sense of direction. Was that any new emotes? I love it. It's so good. I got some proofs back for my emotes, so any day now should be getting some new emotes I'm pretty excited about. My dog. Okay. End of the line? Seems that way. Not for us, I hope. Okay. Do we go inside? Why are you walking? Do we go over here? Oh. A fishing pole? You're not gonna let me click on the fishing pole. Okay, what about these? It's like TVs. Next says I submitted 2 more this morning. One got sent to purgatory and this one passed right away. I just don't understand how they work. Me either. It's very strange. We go down here? No, we can't go down the stairs. That big doggy. It's like a reception desk? Yeah. It's over here. Whoa. Well, we should probably... Alright, I'm making Conway walk all around and he has an injured leg. Oh, we were just her a second ago. Ding. Interesting. So she went to the 0 and apparently never came back. Hello. Well, here you are. Better late than never, I guess. Just unload the whiskey over there by the elevator. I'll figure something out. Want to settle a bet? I'm actually pretty busy, but sure, what's up? Can you be both inside and outside at the same time? Wow, okay. Is that like a philosophy thing, or are you just lost? We're just lost. You're lost, so you're not the... Sorry, honest mistake. Ooh! In the first act, there was a truck that crashed, spilling a bunch of booze all over the highway. I bet they were supposed to come here and deliver that. We're supposed to have a little celebration here at the office, but the whiskey never showed up. I saw your truck and thought, but you don't really look like one of the boys from the distillery anyway. What are you celebrating? What do the boys from the distillery look like? Or what is this place? What are you celebrating? Oh, the less I understand, the better. When I'm here, I keep the fans turning and the furnace hot and listen for the bell. When I get home, I'm a different person. I don't have to think about it. I just paint. Well, it's clear you're new to this territory. I expect you just mean to be passing through. We're looking for Dogwood Drive. Do you know where that is? Dogwood. Nope. You're going to need to talk to someone upstairs about that. One of the map clerks. But first we've got to get you in the system, so you'll need an appointment with one of the ingestion clerks. Are we being ingested by the highway? I don't love that for us. That's weird. Rick is booked proofreading drafts all afternoon, and Wanda's out on a site. Let me go make some calls and see if we have anyone free. There are some books over there in the waiting area, or just take a look around. Have you seen our grotesques? Huh? What? Those? The television is playing what looks like a nature documentary. A hermit crab scuttles across a beach. Its shell is an awkward shape. It must have once belonged to a different crab. The television is playing a cartoon about a bird. The cartoon bird collects pieces for its nest. A scarf, a plastic shopping bag, a bit of a young girl's hair. The nest is warm but precariously fragile. Oh, Cap, hello! Brit! Hi, friends! Oh my goodness! Welcome in! How are you? Final Fantasy 2? Whoa. Is that one of those pixel remasters or were you playing it on original hardware? Barit. Shout out to Barit as well. It's my friends. Hello. Batman, Arkham Knight. Brit is just a gem. Cap, I'm really sorry I haven't caught one of your streams before, but I definitely will. How are you? What was the original on? Was it on, like, NES? The SNES? I don't know things. But hello! Oh, thank you, Britt. So good to see you! I appreciate the raid. I don't have a raid video. Usually I have a raid screen, but, oh, well, thank you, and thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I'm Kate. Fat, queer, death-positive streamer. I'm really glad y'all are here. I stream Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. Right now we're celebrating my favorite show of all time, Twin Peaks, and playing a similar in vibe game, Kentucky Route Zero. I'm going to welcome y'all in with some pie. That's what we're going to do. Let's have some pie together. Enjoy.
How about a nice big piece of cherry pie?
I would love some pie right now, honestly.
Cherry pie?
Best in the Tri-County.
Deadly Premonition. I've heard that, but I definitely do need to play it. I probably will at some point.
Would you like some pie?
Massive, massive quantities and a glass of water, sweetheart. My socks are on fire.
This must be where pies go when they die.
How was the pie? Compelling.
It is such a trip. You're absolutely right.
This cherry pie is a miracle.
It's a miracle.
2 more pieces of this incredible pie.
So yes, welcome in. Glad we could share some pie with you. It is such a trip. If y'all want to watch it with us, we are going to be watching the pilot in my Discord. So feel free to join. That's going to be... Diane, I've had the best pie this side of the Mississippi. Absolutely. Oh, I just love it so much. I'm so excited. Oh, I gotta show you my log. I do have a log pillow. And if you do !log, you can get some log wisdom. Yeah, Brit. Yeah, it's such a good show. Did it not work? No. Don't tell me this. Oh, no. Okay, hang on. I'm going to reload my overlays. I'm going to check that because I feel like you need... No quote found. That's a lie. That's just a lie. We got to check. Bear with me because we can't go without log wisdom. We must have it. So many things like worked last time and then did not work this time, and I don't know why. I 100% thought you were pulling a prank because logs can't talk. You're right, but my log does. The log lady's log talks to her. She has to translate though. Now why is my chat bot being silly? We'll turn it off and back on. Just that one alert. Or that one off, on. Okay, let's see. This cherry pie's a miracle. We need to do another one. We just saw that one on video. Okay, here we go. As above, so below, the human being finds himself or herself or themselves in the middle. There is as much space outside the human proportionately as inside. Stars, moons, and planets remind us of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Is there a bigger being walking with all the stars within? Does our thinking affect what goes on outside us? And what goes on inside us? I think it does. The log has spoken. Okay. Log eating a pie with a cup of coffee on the side. I love the way you think, Jellyfish. Do you want me to do it now or after stream and put it on Discord? I'm happy to do either. Just do it now. Let's go to chatting and we'll do it real quick. Turn that off. Full screen. I'm going to do it on pink paper. Because that's the paper that I pulled. Okay. This is going to be fun. Whatever feels more natural. I feel like I'm good doing it now. I don't have a lot of space. Hi, Tim. Welcome in. We just had some pie. Do you want donuts, though? I'll welcome in my brother, Timbo, with some donuts. Also, please follow Timbo. Timbo's my brother in real life, and Timbo's trying to get to 100 followers so that he'll play all of the Kingdom Hearts games. Every single one. Some donuts while I draw.
This one is dream. Yep. Lucy sets it up for us every night.
We need donuts.
Give me a donut.
Enjoy those donuts. You know, Homer Simpson was right about donuts. What does Homer Simpson say about donuts? I didn't get to watch The Simpsons growing up. Actually, neither did you, except maybe at a friend's house, maybe? He just loves them? Yeah. So do I. That's true. Sort of. Okay. I just did a very terrible quick drawing of a log with pie and coffee. It says, "This is a damn fine cup of coffee." I'll also post that in the Discord for you, Jellyfish, after stream. But there you go. Thank you, Britt. Tim, go follow Britt. Go follow the Captain Cadaver too. They just raided me. Two amazing friends and streamers who I very much appreciate. Let's get back to this strange game that is really interesting. I will become a circle again because that's just how I just like to be round. There we go. We're going to resume the game. We're at the office building, Tim. I don't know what's happening. I don't know about anything. But we went on the on-ramp. We found the on-ramp last stream. The television is playing an instructional video on elevator design. It is crucial to maintain proper lighting in an elevator. In the absence of sight, passenger sense of motion is greatly enhanced. The passenger should never feel as though they are physically ascending or descending. The elevator should create the illusion that the building is flat. This is the mark of a successful elevator design. I like when you're around too, Britt. My gosh. So kind. Tim, I thought you played this game. Britt, I did name my dog Blue. Yeah, I named my dog Blue. It's a good dog name. You know, the elevators at my college did not understand this. In an elevator, you're not supposed to feel like you're ascending or descending. It goes... I could feel it. It scared me every time. Okay, Tim. Act 1 opens up at a gas station. We were talking to this guy, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know how to get to the address for your delivery. You're going to have to go on my computer, go into my basement, fix my electricity, then go to the computer and look up the address for this person. You're going to want to go and see this person." Go and see this person. She was kind of strange. She spoke to us like she knew us kind of already. I got very Log Lady vibes from her. And then she led us to this woman, Shannon, who helped fix the TV. And then when we fixed the TV, it showed us the way to Kentucky Route Zero. Britt says, "I played a little bit of this game at the EMP, which is now called the Museum of Pop Culture, or MoPop. Where is that? Is that in DC? Because I have Washington, DC. I feel like we went to... Oh, it's in Seattle. Ooh. Britt. I need to go there. It's very close to me. It is a point and click, yeah. Because I remember we went to the Smithsonian Pop Culture Museum. MoPop is in Seattle. Okay. Yeah, because Tim... We went to some sort of museum of... It must have been like American culture or something. And it was all pop culture stuff. Ooh, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to go there next time we go visit my in-laws. That sounds really fun. I love museums. I miss museums. I love them. Is the game too loud? It seems very loud in my ears, but... Television is playing a silent video of an empty theater. A microphone sits in the middle of the stage. The lights are slightly dimmed. The speakers hum impatiently. That reminds me of No Ay Banda from Mulholland Drive. Another David Lynch movie. Whoa. Last one. Why is there a fishing pole here? That's what I want to know. Television is playing a closed-circuit security feed of a housing project. The feed switches mechanically between locations. A hallway, a disused plot of grass, a stairwell, a mailbox. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the ruby slippers. Yeah, jellyfish. What's everyone's favorite museum experience that they've had? I want to live vicariously through you. Oh yeah, we hurt our leg, that's why we're limping. Yeah, our character's name is Conway. That's Shannon in blue. Yeah. Still one of my top experiences at a museum is, okay, one is food related and one is, ooh, Tim, that was a remarkable day. Closest I've been lately are the Actually Great exhibit that was at the Japanese garden recently. Ooh. One was food related, and that was when I was in Denmark, and I had this thing called a kartoffelcake, which is like a cream puff covered in marzipan and cocoa powder, and it looks like a potato, which is why it's called kartoffelcake, because kartoffel is potato in Danish. Anyway, that's the food one. Then, the Cleveland Art Museum is free and wonderful. So if you're ever in Cleveland, absolutely go there. They also have a museum of reproductive health. So you can see like all these old like tools and stuff. But I used to do reproductive activism, so that was a really cool thing. Oh, and then the last one was seeing Suspiria, which I mentioned on stream before. Seeing Suspiria at the art museum in the original like 35mm. And they had to do the subtitles by hand. So literally like a laminated, like a sheet with like at school with the lamination with the subtitles, and then you could see them like shuffling them in and out. Hi Lyrica, welcome in, friend. Hey, a shout out for Lyrica. How are you today? Britt says, it might be a little messed up, but I really enjoyed the Titanic exhibit. We got a ticket and we role-played as a citizen, and depending on what class you were in, depended on where you were allowed to start, and then at the end you could see if you survived. Ooh. That reminds me of like the Museum of Tolerance in LA, where you have to choose, you have to choose which way to go. Able-bodied or... Museums are so important to give you like that experience. Yeah, a good interactive exhibit. Exactly. I'm glad you're doing well, Lyrica. Lyrica, would you like some coffee or some donuts or some chewing gum? Anything like that? Well, Lyrica, you want some? I'm going to give you some coffee. I've been welcoming people in with these today. There you go.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I know you love coffee. That's why I was like, that's what I'm going to pick.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
Absolutely. Sorry, I hope that wasn't echoing too much. I will get the hang of this eventually. I will remember how to stream. I forgot the excuse me. It's okay, Britt. You're still a true fan. Britt said, I also really enjoyed the Sherlock Holmes exhibit. You're given a crime journal and you had to solve a crime using codes, puzzles, ciphers, and forensic science. It was really cool. My mom and I pretended to have silly accents and we're detectives. That sounds so fun, Britt. Lyrica, we're talking about our favorite exams. Our favorite museum experiences. So if you have any fun ones, let us know. We're exploring this weird place. Oh, is she back? Oh, Marianne. Hello. Oh, good. I thought you'd left. People can be so impatient. You never know. Well, I have you meeting with Alula Chamberlain. She's a senior clerk and she doesn't usually handle the ingestion process. I hate that phrase. You keep saying it and I hate it. But she's the only one with room on her plate this evening. My schedule says she's on the 5th floor reviewing some diagrams. I did that one, the Sherlock Holmes one. Cool, jellyfish. Lyrica says, oh, we were just talking about museums in the D2D cast Discord about the Gardner Museum theft. Oh, hell yeah. That's such an interesting story. I remember that from BuzzFeed Unsolved. Jellyfish says, I still have the booklet from it. Nice. Oh, yeah. Lyrica is in an all-fat, all-queer actual play D&D show that airs every Saturday at 5:30 Pacific on Twitch. So, and that's, I'm going to type in the Twitch. I talk about it enough that I should really have just it on deck, just ready to go. Because it is my favorite show right now. Yes, so if you want to watch that, go to OK Katie May's channel, follow, and catch the show. You can also catch up on YouTube. It's so good. Death to Divinity. It's so good. Okay. Yeah. Well, compared to, if we're thinking about what happened last episode, how could it not be? Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed out. But I'm also like very excited for your character in particular because of where we're going next. Ooh, it's gonna be so cool. Oh, okay, we're going to the 5th floor. Elevator is just back to the left there. 5th floor. What floor? I know nothing intentionally. That's the best thing. Does anyone else in here play D&D? Oh yeah, we didn't look at the books. 3 books are piled on the table. A service manual for a sewage pump, some architectural plans for a bungalow, and a slim collection of Japanese death haiku. An envelope is protruding from the bottom of the stack. Conway picks up the envelope. Conway leaves the books. Am I nosy? I really want to read the Japanese death haiku because of who I am as a person. I'm gonna take it. Ooh, the envelope reads Bureau of Secret Tourism. It contains several small handwritten brochures with ritualistic directions to bizarre locations. That's fun. Okay, let's go. Our poor man Conway is just limping. Let's do it. Yep, so on the 5th floor, right? 5th floor, diagrams and drafts. Oh. Why do you have to tempt me like this? Archives and records, I'm a nerd, so I would want to go there. Bears? Bears? If we have time, we're going to the bear floor. We have to. But whenever I play a game, I'm like, I have to follow it. They told me to go there. I have to go there immediately. Or something bad will happen. It's a good chance something bad will happen if we go to the 3rd floor, to the bear floor. Let's go to the 5th floor. She's right there, though. Whoa! Are you hearing this? The music changed. Oh, let's fix the record player. It's skipping. There we go. Fixed it. Greg is hard at work examining some diagrams, measuring angles with a plastic protractor and occasionally scribbling numbers in a small leather notebook. Can I help you? Don't answer that. Sorry, we're looking for an ingestion clerk? Oh, no, I'm an interior spatial analyst. I can't help you with that. I think the ingestion clerks have all gone home for the night. Lula might be able to help you. She's pretty senior. You just missed her, actually. She was up here about an hour ago. She's probably back at her real desk now on the first floor. She barely made a dent in these diagrams. Must have been distracted. Speaking of which... he was implying that we were distracting him. Goodbye. I'm sorry, Greg. Let's go. Come on, Shannon. Ooh, it's glitchy, and I think that's, like, on purpose. Come on, Shannon, let's go. Okay, her office is down on the first floor. 5th floor. 4th floor. Bears? Oh no. 2nd floor, 1st floor. 1st floor. I gotta know. There's literally bears. What happens if we go there? Will they eat us? Oh no, I think I have to find out. What is this man doing? He has no sleeves. Oh, that's that guy from before. It looked like he, like, had ripped sleeves. Not that it was, like, intentionally. Hello, are you lost? We're looking for Alula Chamberlain. Oh, no, she's much too busy. Let's get some of our junior clerks to sort your paperwork first, so we don't waste any of Miss Chamberlain's time. It's a pretty straightforward process. First, you'll need to get a case number assigned. Talk to clerks... Whoop, I mixed those up. Clerk Metzstein about that. She's just over there at the end of the room. Happy to help. Hello. Stop making Conway walk all over the damn office. He's injured. Hi, how are you? Fine, thanks. I just need your ingestion card and a list of your last 5 permanent addresses. I love Shannon. Shannon's like, get stuff done type of person. Let's just skip it. Which one of you is Alula Chamberlain? Oh, sure, that's her in the cardigan. Shannon, I like you. Having fun in the paperclip labyrinth? Well, you made it eventually. You look exhausted. I'd offer you my seat, but my ankles are turning on me. The receptionist said you could point us in the right direction. This concrete bunker of an office is just a waypoint for you, I'm sure. Where is it you're trying to go? We're looking for 5 Dogwood Drive. Dogwood Drive. That's funny. Do you know I used to live on a Dogwood Drive? This was years ago. A grimy old house, basement full of insects, attic full of birds. I had a few roommates. We all worked at the university. I had a dog. I drank whiskey and beer and made sculptures. But that Dogwood was a surface road. With a name like that, it would have to be. What are you doing on the Zero? A gas station attendant told us we'd need to take the Zero to get there. Gas station attendant? I see. Friendly blind man, about my age. Hangs out with an old cat. Likes to pretend he's a poet. His name is Joseph. Do you know him? Joseph and I used to work together. And we lived together. We were friends. Joseph! He's one of the 3. He's one of the artist people that went down in the cave. But Donald is the one that wanted to stay there. Joseph wanted to leave. Lula went to find the Zero. That was a long time ago. We haven't spoken in years. Do you know why he's pointed you this way? It's because he's still in love with me, of course, and now he's implicated you, quite inconsiderately, and in your condition, it's appalling. So I'm very sorry for wasting your time, but I'm afraid you've been misled. Excuse me. But where's the Dogwood Drive you lived on? Maybe it's the same one? Get over yourself. What should we say? That seems very rude. That seems a little bit out of pocket. I'm going to do this one. No, it's not possible. The Dogwood Drive I lived on is now called Pale Dogwood Drive. They've renamed all the streets, you see. Too many streets with the same names. It was never a problem before, but now we have these databases, and it's all too confusing for the computer. The computer has no sense of ambiguity, so it proclaims an error. Name collisions, they call them. So my Dogwood Drive is Pale Dogwood Drive, and another might be Large-Leafed Dogwood Drive, or Himalayan Flowering Dogwood Drive, and so on. But one of them is still just Dogwood Drive, or so we might hope. It's really a matter of consulting records, of which we have an abundance here. My voice is getting scratchy. Do you have a record of those streets? I expect we must. They'll be up in Archives and Records, 4th floor. Oh no. We fired under O for odonyms, probably, or G for generic, or maybe S for specific, depending on which part of the street name was changed. Okay. I guess here we go again. Wait. We go back up to the 5th floor. Oh boy. Greg's not going to be happy with us. So we're going to disrupt him again. Archives and Records, so 4th floor. Okay. We don't have to bug Greg. That's good. 4th floor. Don't accidentally hit the bears. Okay. I don't want to get eaten. The way this is going, though, we'll probably end up on the bear floor for some reason or another. What the heck? It's so weird. I really like this stuff. Reminds me of like moss or something, which we know I love very much. Oh my gosh. Damn, this place is a mess. Okay. Take a look through that logbook, I guess. Maybe there's some kind of system to all these boxes. I'll just start digging. Small logbook has a smart leather cover. A few notes are scribbled on the inside covers. Most pages are just lists of titles, names, and dates. Page 14. A single set of documents relating to a coal mining operations was checked out and back in by several different people within a few hours. Inside front cover. Document staff, please do not transfer any more records from the storage unit until we get the new file cabinets in. We're up to F and that will have to do for now. Instruct clerks to focus on activities beginning with A through F, or activities most likely to involve research on subjects beginning with these letters. For example, cars is okay because it involves automotive, driving, brakes, etc. But air quality is not okay because it relates to health, safety, pollution, etc. What? Page 1. Several documents relating to sporting competition venues were quickly checked out and back in over a period of a few days. Basketball courts, baseball fields, alleys, and parking lots. Last one. Failing antique shops folder missing. Listed checked in on page 63 but not present. We work for an antique shop. I wonder if it's one of the failing ones. I wonder. Page 63. Check-in, failing antique shops. Monday, 3 p.m. Signee Ed Bohm. Put the logbook away. Nothing? Me neither. Half of these boxes aren't even labeled, and the rest are all from the first few letters of the alphabet. I couldn't find anything with an O or a G or an S. Maybe that clerk knows somewhere else we can look. Oh, boy. I can't tell if this is like supposed to happen. Okay, her office is down on the first floor. Seems weird. Seems like that shouldn't be happening. Lula. Has anyone else watched that LuLaRoe documentary on Amazon? I stayed up way too late one night watching it. Nothing? That's unfortunate. Well, they must still be in transit. You see, we've only moved into this new venue somewhat recently, and it's still a bit in progress. This was the cathedral not so long ago, can you believe it? Then the Bureau reclaimed it. The old congregation has been directed to one of our storage facilities for their activity. Nyreen! Hi, friend! Shout out to Nyreen. How are you? How's it going? Yeah, it's very bingeable. Death's Door. Ooh, my brother got me that game. I need to play that. I saw you've been enjoying it. It looks so good. I love the style of it. Me too, Jellyfish. I also love a good docuseries. Absolutely. Are the bears the ones that are like the old congregants? Noreen says, I'm good. How are you doing? And yes, it's so fun. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Noreen, would you like some donuts or pie or gum? Or coffee? I've been welcoming in people with stuff. What should we give Noreen? Maybe some pie? Or maybe... Donuts? Oh yeah, that's right. That's your favorite. Hello. Always donuts for Noreen. Me too. There's a place near me that does vegan, gluten-free, and they have chocolate raspberry.
For us every night.
They're so good. What's your favorite kind of donut? Like, just like classic, like this pink box kind of donut. What's everyone's favorite? I love a buttermilk bar, or like a sour cream, like
We need donuts.
old fashioned, kind of tangy. There is some, yeah, that's blood.
Give me a donut.
Irene says, I love every donut, but there are these cookie dough donuts at the place I like that are so good. That sounds really good. And Britt says, I like plain donut without glaze. Basically, I just want soft, sweet bread. Yeah, that sounds like a dream. I would destroy donuts right now. Oh. We went to Trader Joe's, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I guess it was last week. And they had a mochi cake mix. We made that last night. It was pretty good. I feel like it needed something, but I couldn't, having not made it, and it was from a box, but having not made it, I'm like, what would go well with this? Honestly, Zenny was saying that like a nice tart frozen yogurt would be really good with it, and I think that's a good choice. Irene says, I'll eat raspberry donuts, Boston cream, honey glaze, I don't care. Same. I love a Boston cream donut. I'm with you on that one. My partner's like, no, I don't want that cream. I want they'd rather have a jelly donut, I think. Not me. If it was actual jelly, sure. There's a place near us, well, in Portland, that has a blueberry basil. Yeah, a blueberry basil donut. Oh my gosh. Also extremely good. That's where you'll find the street name records I expect. At the church. Marianne at reception can give you directions. Just come back here when you have the files and we'll begin the necessary paperwork to have information analyzed. Oh, and while you're out on the road, you might want to stop and see Dr. Truman about your leg. Dr. Truman? I think you mean Sheriff Truman. Just kidding. He's a specialist regarding ailments of the joints and limbs, and I know he works at night. His home office is in a small neighborhood on the east edge of Bowling Green. Yeah, that's from Blue Star. Nyrene says, probably saying it wrong, but my friend gets us ponchki sometimes. I don't know what that is. Ooh. A Dutch donut. Yeah, jellyfish. Blue Star's so good with those really good flavors. I have had, they're not really donuts. They kind of are. They're like pancake puffs. Oh, Polish. Okay. When I was in Denmark, I studied abroad in Denmark for 4 months. And around the holidays, it's like a holiday thing. You get spiced wine, and you get these they're like pancake puffs, called æbleskua. And usually, traditionally, they were stuffed with apple, but now they're usually just plain. And you dip them in raspberry jam and cover them in powdered sugar. So it is kind of like a donut. So good. So good that I was like, I need to get one of these special pans so that I can make them at home. Sometimes they have the pan at Cost Plus, that World Market. So good. I love trying interesting food and snacks and stuff. Someday I want to do like a snack exchange with friends and just like, especially like the friends that I've met who live in all sorts of like different places, to be like, give me like your favorite regional snacks. Like I want to know what you like to eat. And please send it to me and I will send you some of my favorite things. That sounds so fun. Okay. Here's his card. Do stop and see him. That leg is a miserable sight. Take care of each other. Oh, yeah. There was a cave-in in the mine that we were going through. And it injured Conway's leg. So I guess we go back down. Talk to the receptionist. Get the directions. And I might take a little break. Whoa, this glitching is weird. Careful, friends, if flashing stuff gets to you. I don't know what's going on. Lobby. I don't know if it's the game or my computer. I don't love it. Okay, so we'll go talk to the receptionist and I'll put a BRB. Go to the bathroom. Get some more water. Stretch. Hello, Marianne. Get what you need? Lula said... You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go... Just another office lady. Just another job. But you kicked out a congregation to set up your office? I wasn't here for that, but yeah, I get where you're coming from. Still, I wouldn't judge until I've seen everything. They've got a new church now. The Bureau set it up for them out some of their old storage space. I'm sure it's very nice. Go see it for yourself. Just get back on the 0 and drive till you hit the crystal. Then turn around. It'll make sense once you get on the road, you can handle it. Okay. Blue. All right. So I'll go ahead and pause here. I'm gonna put up BRB. I'm gonna do you want to see Cookie Monster, or do you want to see more like coffee related stuff? I don't know which video to put up. I should say that was very inspired by Super Upscaler Boy. His BRB screens are legendary. And when I was doing Twin Peaks, I was like, well, I've got to just make some videos of like Twin Peaks stuff. I'm going to do the coffee one.
I'm going to get the sheriff.
Oh, never mind. I'm doing the Cookie Monster.
Still not close. Boy, this is going to be an all-night brainbuster. Yep, better drink some coffee. Oh, we're out of coffee. Ah, well, I'll just drink this warm cream. Oh.
Cheese, freedom, L.E. La Cruz. This here burns better. Look.
Huh?
Better. Look. Burns suit.
I'm not following you.
Burns his suit. Burns his suit.
Huh?
Look at Burns' suit. Yeesh.
Ha, ha, ha.
I had an idea, Chief. Why don't we check out that suit Burns was wearing when he got shot?
Did you have the same backwards talking dream with the flaming cards?
I'll drive.
Oh, Coop, about the uniform.
Yes, Albert?
Replacing the quiet elegance of the dark suit and tie with the casual indifference of these muted earth tones. It's a form of fashion suicide, but call me crazy. On you it works.
Oh, hello. This Alistair Cookie here for Monsterpiece Theater. Tonight, another episode in Mystery about a monster trying to guess a town secret. A town called Twin Peaks. Oh, excuse me. Whoa! Pie. Oh. Diane, this Agent Cookie reporting. Me in town called Twin Peaks. Darn fine town. Darn fine pie. Ooh. Darn fine plates, too. Diane, there is one thing me no can find out. Why is town called Twin Peaks? Me begin asking questions. Asking questions, best way to find out something. Okay.
Anything else I can get you?
Oh, hello, yes. You can get me some answers.
What was the question?
Me want to know why town is called Twin Peaks.
Hey, I don't butt into your business, do I? Stay out of mine.
That not darn fine answer. Me got to ask more people more questions. Hey, hello. Me, Special Agent Cookie.
I'm Finch. David Finch.
David Finch. Good. Me like bird who knows own name. Now, me have question. Why this town called Twin Peaks?
I'll see you later, Laura.
Gotta fly.
Wait.
Yes?
You know can't give me teensy-tiny hint?
Well, it's called...
Yeah.
It's called Twin Peaks. Yeah. Because...
Come on!
Oh, sorry, gotta go.
Wait, please.
Okay. Ask the log bird.
The log bird?
Yes.
Are you coming or what?
Yes.
This town gets stranger and stranger. Okay, me look for a log bird. Log bird.
Who's looking for me?
Oh, me. Log bird. Oh, me look for you.
What's on your mind?
Me want to ask you one simple question. Why this town called Twin Peaks?
Let me ask.
No. Me asking questions. That's how me find out things.
Let me ask my log. Do you know why this town is called Twin Peaks?
How should I know? I'm a log. Ha! A talking log. Ha.
That's right, a talking log. A log that doesn't like to be laughed at.
Oh.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Sorry. Diane, me hurt the log's feelings today, and me no closer to finding out why they call this place Twin Peaks. But me did notice one thing very interesting about the birds in this town. They all have two beaks. But they no like to talk. Oh well. Time for more of this great pie. Let's go, Diane. And that concludes Twin Peaks. Darn fine story, darn fine actor. Darn fine pie. This Alistair Cookie saying goodbye for Monster Piece Theater.
I'm going to get the...
Isn't that great? I love it. Twin Peaks, when it aired, was huge. People, it was like a sensation. Yeah, and now it's like cult classic status. But yeah, it's very fun. I found a ton of stuff. The other BRB screen has a long form like series of Japanese commercials for coffee that star a lot of the cast from Twin Peaks. It's very fun. But yeah, we're gonna go to, I guess, to the church. See what that's about. I hope everyone got a beverage, stretched, did what they needed to do. They don't want to stay any longer. They want to figure out what's next. I am very intrigued about the bears. Whoa. The bureau. Are you hearing this? This is so cool. The jaws? Oh no, that was scary. We just keep driving until we hit the crystal, it said. The cactus. The lightning bolt. The sandwich. What? Now, is that the crystal? I'm confused. The cathode ray? The bottle? The TV? The C-note? This travel screen is so good. Yeah. The crystal. And then we have to turn around. Right, Rabbit, you were saying you really like the travel scenes. Self-storage. Yeah, that's where we need to go. Whoa, it's so cool though. It's like a song almost. It's like you're composing, like, I don't know, it just like swells. That's really cool. Yeah, the chapter select scene. Oh, it's just vibes. St. Thomas Church. Let's say random access self-storage. Area C. Is that it over there? Such a cool shot. Yeah, absolutely. I don't see any congregation. Maybe it's after hours. Let's see what the janitor knows, I guess. I love Shannon. You haven't seen this? Oh. I guess it's... Yeah, there are lots of different ways it could go, right? Oh, here for the night mass? What kind of mass is it? Tonight, it's a homily on work and need. Oh, you're just not this far. Okay. Where's the congregation? I guess this must look pretty strange. A church without a congregation. When they first moved in here, man, this place was packed. They had a mass every night, 2 on Sunday. But it got a bit awkward to fit everyone in, and the numbers quickly dwindled. Once folks started to see it as a thing that was falling apart, they lost their center of gravity and just started wobbling. What does that mean? Then the preacher stopped coming too, but he left his old tapes. Same with the organist, and I found some old acetates in the bureau archives, photos of people in churches, so I kept it running. So I keep it running. You do what you have to, right? Right now, we have to find some bureau documents. Oh, you're from the bureau. I moved all those documents to Unit C315 to make room for the mass. It's down at the other end of the building, same floor. I need to get the night mass started, but you can borrow my keys. I'll go. You wait here. Rest your leg. You're looking kind of pale. Nice lady. Well, I better get this running. Brandon presses play on an old tape machine. Conway listens to the homily. There are many days on which we proclaim the value of labor and celebrate the piety of the hardworking through feast or abstinence. Recognizing Saint Joseph the worker, who was foster father to our Lord Jesus, who trained him in carpentry and in the merit of sweat. And this is one such day. Oh, not work. How do you like working here? It's okay. I don't really know what else I would do. I used to play a lot of card games, you know, in high school. Some of my friends went to college, but most of them just got jobs. Maybe in a few years we'll be hanging out in bars, playing darts or something. You're not allowed to play cards in the bar because it looks like gambling. My leg is killing me. I bet everyone's telling you to go see a doctor. Hey, I get it. Too expensive. My dad cut his arm pretty bad on a job, but he stitched himself back up because we didn't have health insurance. But then his hand didn't work very well, and he got pretty depressed. And eventually he just sort of... Well, I guess I don't know what he should have done. Who knows, right? So this is like a hobby? If you asked me what my hobbies were, I'd say card games, science fiction, and perspective geometry, but I run the slideshow and I play the tapes and I don't get paid for it. I take it pretty seriously, but no one's telling me I should. Is that a hobby? Seems like there ought to be a more serious word for it. Okay, that's it. Next, there are some rituals that you and I aren't allowed to participate in, I don't think. And I don't remember them anyway. Hi, I got it. We were just listening to the sermon. What? I found what we came here to get. The file on street name changes. You don't look good. Let's head back to the bureau and get this straightened out. And then maybe we should see that doctor the clerk recommended. What if the doctor is a bear? I'm so curious about the freaking bears. Okay, bye. Right? I think it would be cool. That was cool. Jesus, are you alright? What the hell? Oh, this is like from when we were in the mine. Last time I said I'm okay, my leg is stuck. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna pull you out. We have to get you out of here. There you go. Okay, are you hurt? Can you put any weight on that leg? It's all messed up. Here, let's get you onto the tram. There you go. Now, let's see if this thing has power. Hey, old man, look at me. Can you hear me? What happened? I don't know. He collapsed. I think he blacked out. He was mumbling about the old mine for a minute. The old mine where we met. What is happening? This is so weird. I think I need to see that doctor. Yes, you do. She hands Brandon the doctor's card. How do we get to this address from here? I don't know. It's pretty tricky going back and forth between, you know, here and there. The bureau is the only way I know. Some of those folks do it all the time. Commuters. Just go back the way you came. Find the crystal and then turn around. The emanator. Nyrene says, I think I'm gonna knock out. Feeling very sleepy. I hope you have a good night, friend. Thank you so much for coming by, Nyrene. I appreciate you. Get some good rest and I'll see you soon. And any of my friends in here who are not following Nyrene, please do. They're gonna have a very fun, not Valentine's Day subathon coming up on the 12th. So definitely make sure that you follow them before then. You'll be playing Resident Evil. So exciting. So yes, please go follow Nyrene. They are incredible. I will see you soon. Okay, so we need to go back to the bureau, which I guess I could go in this way. This is so cool. Back to the crystal and turn around. That's what we did. Pipe organ. Staircase. The projector. The bell. The tree. These are all new. Sprocket. The anchor. Bicycle. Antlers. This is so, like, strange. Oh wait, the scarecrow. I clicked it. Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Hi, Blue. I love you. Maybe we don't leave the car running all the time. What? Oh, a cat. I don't think the cat was there before. Maybe it was. Back so soon? We need to get to the interstate, 65. Lula filed your papers, so you're in our system now. I can process you whenever you're ready to go back. Just let me know. We've got a few more things to see down here, I'd say. We need to go talk to Lula again, maybe? Perhaps? She's on the first floor, but I don't see her. First floor, clerk's offices. Yeah, she was right there. Do we do it? Do we go to the bears? I think that's all we can do is go. You want to go see what happens when we go to the bears? If we die, we just got to this area, so. But it doesn't seem like that kind of game. Yeah, let's go see the bears. Okay, I think we have to. Because if we leave here and we don't come back, I will never forgive myself for not going to the bear floor. Truly. Okay, let's go. We got that one already earlier. This cherry pie is a miracle. I'm gonna give you another one. Can you see through a wall? Can you see through human skin? X-rays see through solid or so-called solid objects. There are things in life that exist, and yet our eyes cannot see them. Have you ever seen something startling that others cannot see? There you go. That's your log wisdom. Also, that cherry pie is a miracle, but we've had that one twice already today. Oh my goodness. Hello? Hello, bears. Hi? Hi, can I talk to you? That was it. Just these bears. They're just, you know, they're just watching us. Observing us. They're so good. Hello. We gotta get Conway to the doctor, though. I would just chill on the bare floor all the time. Nap time? You can find me on the bare floor. I will be snuggling with multiple bears. They're not hurting me. Alright. Now we will go back to the lobby and get processed. Does that mean we get ingested? Emery, you were around for Fat Bear Week, right? It's my favorite week that concerns bears. But yeah, where did Britt go for lunch? Are you kidding? There's a bear floor. She's on the bear floor. Yeah, right? You weren't here for Fat Bear Week? Oh, let me tell you about Fat Bear Week, my friend. Okay. In late October, early November, a national park in Alaska who has a live cam of their river, like they have multiple live cams of like the area. They track bears that live on the like in the park. And every year around that time, what are bears doing? They're getting ready to frickin' hibernate all winter long. So they're like eating tons of salmon. They're just like really packing on the pounds. Oh, good night, Britt. Thank you so much for coming by. Coming in with the raid with Cap. I appreciate you both. Everyone should also go follow Brit. They're a gem. She's so fun. So cool. Yeah, so the bears are getting all that like extra fuel that they'll need for the hibernation. And then when you see them come out in the spring, they're like really skinny. So there was a bracket. You could vote Fat Bear Week. It's very fun. I love it so much. No, we're gonna come back out here. Yeah. It's so good, Lyrica, right? I love it too. I'm like, good job, bears. You're doing great. Yes, definitely make sure to follow. I'll probably highlight it on stream again because I love it so much. It's so fun. Tracking who's winning, the votes, the bracket. All right. We saw the bear floor. Now I feel like we can proceed. We're ready to be processed. She hands the receptionist Lula's card. Can you tell us how to get to this address? We're looking for Dr. Truman. Of course. This is in a neighborhood just outside of Bowling Green. Get on 65 going southwest. Take a right just past the observatory, just before the river. If you continue north, you'll be there shortly. My God, we'll have to do a Fat Bear Week and hot cocoa viewing when we move. Yeah. Did y'all decide where you're gonna move? You don't have to be specific. You can always tell me later, but I know you were looking at a few different places, I think. Or a few different areas. Yeah, and I feel like you mentioned that that's going to be happening fairly soon, which is very exciting, but also stressful. So please take care of yourself. About 90% set on Oregon, since we'll be renting one more year. Well, I love that. Because that's where I live. That's awesome. Yeah, well, Zenny and I are here, so if you need anything, let us know. And we've got stuff to take you to. We can go to the last Blockbuster. We can go to the best video game store that I've ever been to in my life. It's gonna be very fun. Or at the very least, we can tell you where those places are so that you can go to them. But definitely have to pick your brains on a location because I've only lived in one town there. Okay, yeah. DM me. We can chat about it. Discord me. Yeah, whatever. So exciting. Okay. Oh, if you continue north, you'll be there shortly. Happy to help. Sorry that we were sassing you, Marianne. We're just confused. I don't know what's happening. All right. Can we take the cat with us? That's what I would like to know. Whoa, we're back out. I already have to look. 65 going southwest. Take a right just past the observatory, just before the river. Okay, yeah. Southwest. What's this? Equus oils. Okay, keep going. Just before the river. I feel like that's the observatory. What did it say? I can't remember. I can't hold anything in my brain. Take a right just past the observatory. Okay. No. Go away. Head north, you'll be there shortly. Yep. Alright. The neighborhood at the address on Lula's card has been demolished. In its place is a large museum, still partially under construction. I don't need to go to a museum even though I love a museum. We've already talked about that. But I do need a doctor. Maybe there's a doctor here. Museum of Dwellings. Interesting. Checking with the dog always. Oh yeah, he was talking to his dog. Guy was a weirdo. What did he say? It doesn't seem that weird. You didn't see the guy. Tall, kind of stooped over, limping bad. Looked like an old drunk if you ask me. I bet they were both drunks, breaking in here looking for a place to sleep it off. I just feel bad for that old dog getting dragged all over by a couple of drunks. Old dog like that should be sleeping on a porch somewhere, but that's loyalty for you. Well, they didn't stay long anyway. How weird. Okay. I heard the man and the lady talking when they first came in, but they didn't see me. What were they talking about? The man said his leg was hurting him. They were looking for Dr. Truman, but he was already gone. But they didn't know, so they kept looking around. I just assumed they were from the power company. You know how they're always coming by unannounced and messing with this or that. I just shut myself up in my room to wait it out. No sense getting involved. How'd they get in? Must have been one of the kids who left the front door unlocked. Something's got to be done. They run around like animals. You know that Flora left a can of soda on top of my shelter door and I almost killed myself slipping on that sticky mess the next morning? Something's got to be done. Is there like anything else to look at? Whoa. Okay. I guess we go back out. I don't know what else to do. Like, that has to be the exit. There has to be other things to look at, though. It's not really letting me click anywhere else. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ugh. Maybe there's something over here. Oh, I see. Whoa. It's like a railroad car or a trailer. That's a railroad car back there. I guess they must have gone through some papers here. It was in some disarray and a few folders were pulled out and left on the table. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I only noticed because Diane is such a stickler. She's real organized, I mean. What folders were they looking at? Yeah, mostly stuff about the building site, I guess. They had a list of all the homes we relocated here. A list of original residences before we leveled the neighborhood. I guess they were looking for one of the old residents. They pulled out a list of the folks that didn't take the offer, folks who moved elsewhere, but they filed that back, out of order, so I guess they didn't find what they were looking for there. You know what I was thinking about with Act 1? Weaver was talking about how she's sort of like squatting there because they were supposed to sell the house, but she never left. Maybe she's one of the people, but also, you know how when we walked up to the graveyard and they commented on like, oh yeah, this is like a This is like art. Like, it's not a real graveyard. There aren't any bodies there. What if Weaver like made that to look like, you know, a long family history of having lived there, so that you know, to appeal to people's empathy so that they wouldn't kick her out? I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. Intriguing. Hey, while I have you here, work's kind of slowed down, and it seems like, I know you folks know what you're doing, but it seems like the residents are just kind of settling in. That's the idea. Yeah, I get that. Just, how about that roof, huh? You just write us a check and we'll finish it right up. I know you've got this museum thing going on, but you don't want to be slumlords now. Oh, so they're like not building things right. Yeah, they came by and knocked on the window, and we had a bit of a talk through the glass. I would have come out, but, you know, shady characters. What'd you talk about? They were asking about Dr. Truman, and I told them what all I know about that, which is not very much. What do you know about Dr. Truman? I told them he moved in here with the rest of us when you folks bought up the neighborhood, and then one day his house was gone. That's all I know about that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. No, the dog's in there. What's this? I heard them banging around out there and I just stayed quiet. I didn't know what they wanted. I just put my headphones on and tried to ignore them, to tell you the truth. Oh, a person. So, you know, at first I thought it might be Hudson walking up to visit. I'd heard him working on his boat just a bit earlier before the storm started. But then I saw the stranger's limping gait and the young woman with him, and I knew it couldn't be. I invited them in for a glass of bourbon, which they politely declined, so I just talked to them on the porch for a bit. What was the stranger like? He was in a bad way. He seemed confused. He was asking about a basketball game. I thought he might be joking. After all, it's not the season. It made his friend uncomfortable, and she changed the subject. She asked about my house. Do you know, I don't believe either of them had ever set foot on a houseboat before. I don't know that the older man had ever seen an ocean, in fact. It has always been my fondest dream to retire on a houseboat. That's why I accepted your offer and moved in here. It isn't perfect, but what home ever is? I only wish the house would sway a bit. I find that it settles my nerves. Well, if we have another storm like that last one. What the heck? That's so strange. It's not really a houseboat if it's not... They were hollering at that empty tent you folks have on display. Hey, if you ever need anyone to stay in there, I've been in worse positions. Okay. Guess we'll go back over here. I keep having... Poor Conway. Okay. But over here. The other way. Whoa. Oh, there's that barn that we saw in the first episode. I was playing in that empty cabin and they came by. They asked about Dr. Truman. I know where he went, but I didn't tell them. Where did Dr. Truman go? It's a secret. Ezra told me, and I can't tell anyone else. Who's Ezra? He's my age. He doesn't really live here. He's just passing through with his brother Julian. First they're going to help us, but I can't say any more about that. We have a lot of secrets. The lady asked me about my parents, and I told them they were upstairs in the greenhouse. Do you want to hear a weird story? Of course I do. The old man asked me about the cabin. He said it looked like another house he knew, and he wanted to know where it came from. I told him nobody lived there, so he went inside. He took a long time exploring. When he came back, he told me all about it. Where was the other house he knew? I don't remember. He seemed sad. Was it the home he grew up in? He went upstairs and he also looked around the other rooms. I played with the dog. What did he do upstairs? He looked in some boxes. He looked out the window. He could see the museum better than when he was downstairs. He could tell how it was all put together, and the cabin too. He could see the shape of it better from up there. Now the part that is weird. He said he went into the basement. That cabin doesn't have a basement. He said he found a secret door in the floor. Then he found a rope leading down a long pit and he climbed down. It was so long his arms got very tired and he fell in the dark. The walls were covered in a glowing moss. He tried to eat some of the moss. He used the light of the moss to find a lake at the bottom of the pit. He was a good swimmer, so he found his way back to the cabin. So then he came back out of the cabin and we said goodbye and I didn't talk to him anymore. The heck? That's so weird. It's a bird cage. The moment I now recall most clearly from their short visit was the birdcage exhibit. The old man stopped to rest, or maybe to think. The young woman had been anxious up to that point, but she stopped as well and examined the birdcage more closely. It seemed to elicit a tenderness from her. She ran one fingernail along the bars of the wire cage, marking out a tuneless scale like a child's xylophone. And then they moved on. A doghouse. Sorry, Conway, I'm gonna make you walk all over the place. We gotta get some real chickens in that coop, do some homesteading. None of these folks know how to live off the land, you know what I mean? It's just a display, another kind of dwelling. Yeah, no offense against you guys, I mean. I appreciate what all you've done for us. Weird. I think you need to get some real horses in the stable. Did the strangers go in the stable? No, they just poked around a bit and talked about barns. They were pretty boring. That dog was in nearly as bad shape as the old man, just sort of shrugging along. They found some treats in that doghouse exhibit. That seemed to cheer them up a bit. Yeah, I guess we can't go in the barn. That's interesting. Oh. Sure, I talked to them for a bit. Actually, we talked for quite a while. I wasn't busy. I was happy for the company. Can't sleep in a storm like that. I never could. What'd you talk about? I had a bottle in my coat, and I could see the old guy looking at it, and his leg was hurt pretty bad, so I offered him some. He got real awkward about it. I bet he's in a program. Anyway, they were asking about Dr. Truman. I remember him. He was here for a bit and then he left. So that's what I told them. Okay. Okay. I don't need the umbrella yet. I really like the little location marker. I wonder if we can go out now. Where I should go. What's ephemera? Oh, I see. Interesting. River tunnels. Ooh, this will be fun later. I don't know how to get... What are we supposed to do? I'm gonna try to look up how we're supposed to proceed real quick. Okay. So we just didn't go far enough down. Hi, Tim. We are stuck in... Okay, here we go. I think... No. South. Oh. Let's let the camera shift around. Orange elevator. There we go. Costco in there. PC shopping is stressful. Yeah, I can imagine. Listening to Waypoint Radio, I've heard of a good option on Costco, but I guess you'd have to have a membership. It's probably also pretty expensive. I don't know. I don't know. That's the one Patrick ended up getting. Oh. Oh, They wouldn't come in, just rushing around. You could tell. Whoa. You could tell they were worn and it was late at night, but just rushing around. Found a slightly future-proof model for around 1300. Okay. Well, there's some urgency to the older man's injury, so it's understandable. How was he injured? His leg, it was twisted or something. He held it while he walked. And made these painful little sounds in his throat. Oh, how? I don't know. I didn't ask. It would have been rude, I think. Well, we just don't know. I suppose we never will. I accidentally hit stop streaming. Because, like, I'm trying to click. You have to click, like, all the way over to try to get to move forward. And my other screen is over here, and so I was going over, and it just happened to be right at that right spot. Exactly. I would, if it was the internet, I would have been like, what? Oops. Lost, obviously. Yeah, it was obvious. I didn't know we both had umbrellas. Oh, of course. I saw them looking at that odd-shaped building. Sure, the rounded metal one. Did they go inside? No, they just looked at it for a bit. I don't know that I'd feel safe setting foot in there personally. It always looks like it's about to take off. Actually, I guess it's sort of romantic. Anyway, they seemed interested in it. Tired, huddling under their umbrellas, they still stopped to examine this strange building. We gotta find a guy. This eagle keeps flying back and forth with different types of houses, or like... Oh, this man was working on his boat. Difficult to see or even hear a storm like that. Sorry about the flashing. I'm not sure what's happening. Should even out shortly. You paid close attention to the weather. Hard not to up here. The strangers wanted to know how I coped with the exposure. I guess some people will never understand the appeal of life on a sailboat. It's tragic, I'd say. Well, then they had to leave, looking for a doctor, I think. The old man was having a bad time. It was a short conversation. Oh my gosh. I hate that. Flora was playing down on the lower level, and we'd been having a glass of wine in the greenhouse. We ducked out of the way when he came in. After all, they were complete strangers. We didn't know them. Did you overhear them talking? Well, I heard the young woman ask her friend about his job. He's some kind of furniture collector or dealer, I think. It didn't sound like things were going well. Maybe they were here looking for a buyer? Yes, definitely some kind of furniture collector or dealer. I heard him talking about antiques. Okay. Ezra. Saw you folks drive up. I like your truck. What kind of truck is that? Do you know where Dr. Truman is? Yes, ma'am. He's out in the forest. Me and Julian took him out there a few nights ago, and he didn't want to come back. He lives there all the time now. This museum is an okay place to live in the daytime, but it's no good at night. Folks just can't sleep in a place like this. Or when they do, it gives them nightmares. So we take them out to the forest to sleep and then bring them back in the morning. I'm getting pretty tired myself. He hurt his leg. We're looking for Dr. Truman to help him out. Is your family out in the forest? Can you tell us how to get there? You have to follow the Green River way out east, then hop over Lake Cumberland. The roads don't go there. But me and Julian can take you. We were just about to go anyway. I've just got to call him over. Yelling. Hello? Okay, hang on. Way out east, then hop over Lake Cumberland. This is so cool. Shadowy figure drags itself out of the lake, stuffs its limbs into a smart blue suit, and trudges slackly out of view. Green River Lake. I guess they did say way out east. Okay. Wait, what's that? No. Swamp. From a distance from the air, it first looks like a swamp. Vines have grown over the street lamps. Flower bushes obscure the streets. A few of the houses have slipped partially into the ground, foundations cracked by underground roots. Lake Cumberland. Okay. There we go. The forest. Wow. Act 2, Scene 5. A forest. Or in a forest. It's okay, just take it easy. I'll just close my eyes. I don't think that's a good idea. Just take some strain off your leg for a minute, then we'll keep going. Why is this delivery so important to you? It's my last delivery. Oh, you're retiring or something? Or... sorry. Lizette's closing up the shop. That's, damn. How'd you come to be with these people? I bet you were pretty wild when you were younger. When I'm old like you, I'll still be wild. Woo! It's all the houses from before. Shouldn't be much farther now. I think I see where the settlement ends over there. This is some fine-looking trees. Some Dale Cooper in here. Ha, yeah, really nice. You a tree enthusiast? Just nice to have something to lean up on. You're in a lot of pain right now, aren't you? I just need to rest. We're almost there. Dr. Truman will have a nice couch or something you can rest on, and some medicine or something. I don't know. Have you ever been here in the winter? Have you been over to the lake? Have you been over to the lake? I went there once with my folks. I got in trouble for swimming too far. Oh. Yeah, these are all like the dwellings from the museum. That's so interesting. Do you have any family you're close with? Brother or sister? Kids? I have a brother, but I wouldn't say we're close. What does he do? He's about my age, retired. Retired, I can't imagine. Well, I'd probably hate it anyway. You never talk to him? Nah, I burned that bridge pretty bad. Who knows? I guess I was always closest with Weaver. As close as someone can be with a girl like that. She was always on her own wavelength, but we were the same age growing up, and everyone else was so busy. When she disappeared, I got pretty angry, and I guess I just stayed that way. I never really understood her, but I knew her. It's lonely without someone like that around. Sorry, you're a good listener. I bet you come from a big family of dogs. Yeah, dogs have big families. I like that. Seems easier to keep track of them. He's inside with Dr. Truman. Are you coming in? Sure, I'll come in. Dr. Truman lets me watch TV sometimes. My folks never watch TV, but I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks too. I fix TVs, you know. Whoa, cool. A TV scientist. I bet you make a lot of money. My folks had a really nice house, bigger than any of these houses, but it made them worried all the time. Then the bank took it back. We had to sleep at the bus station, but I could never get to sleep. So I just went out to fly around every night with Julian. We flew really far and we never got lost, but when we came back in the morning, they were all gone. They just left you? I don't think so. All our stuff was still there. Maybe they got lost somewhere. Let's go see what's on TV. Buddy. And yeah, I think that during the exit interview is when I really realized how badly they had me. But how else can you pay for medical school? I have college friends with debts that you can't expect to pay that back unless you're planning to sell painkillers on the side or something, or, you know, some kind of administrative thing. I don't know. Having seen what arthritis did to my grandmother and my best friend in high school destroy his wrists building synthesizers, I mean, he was like 17. Ailments of the joints and limbs just seem important to me. I hope that answers your question. Getting a scholarship with that pharmaceutical company had a lot of strings attached, but at least I have somewhere to practice, and even if I have to follow their market trends a bit. Hey, thanks to all those seminars, I'm an expert on the medical uses of Neripnol TM. It's not so bad. So how about that leg? What happened exactly? My leg was crushed by falling rocks. Ah, crushing injury. Yeah, those can be pretty bad. Everything gets all compressed and there are a lot of little pieces to, you know. What? Never mind. Let's take a look. How bad could it be, right? What are they singing about? They're singing about going home. Yeah, they're singing about their home because they're lost right now. It's a scary song. It's not scary, it's hopeful. Dr. Truman's gonna help your friend. He'll be okay. That's nothing we can't handle. You might have a few things to look out for in the future. Be a bit gentler with the leg or the way you walk, but you'll be okay. I've dealt with similar cases before. So the anesthetic we'll use is called Neripnol TM. It's pretty experimental, but it's more appropriate in cases like yours. The way it works is I'll count backwards from 5 to start the process, and then we'll just have a normal conversation as the Neripnol TM takes effect. Then I'll get started. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's talk about billing for a moment. The pharmaceutical company I'm contracted with was recently acquired by an energy company that has some different standards for billings and revenue, so it's a bit complex now. Whoa. End of Act 2? Wow. Wow, this is so cool. and scary. What is going on? Okay, so we have 3 more. Plus there's like interstitials. I like starting with the interstitial and then interlude or whatever. Yeah, we'll start with that next time. Let's pass on our lovely raids that we've had today. Let's see who we can find to hop over to. Make sure all my stuff is properly. Let's go to chatting. How's everyone enjoying the game so far? I'm liking it a lot. It's really interesting. Where should we go? Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Someone's already playing Earthbound. That's funny. I'm not sure where to go. You could try to find a new friend. I wonder if anyone else is playing this game. I wonder. I also don't want to get spoiled. Nope, it's just me. It's literally just me. Okay. That's to be expected. Let's go to peer to peer. Oh yeah, peer-to-peer.live. Let's see who's playing some games. I'm gonna go this over here. And actually I'm gonna close the game. Put some music back on. Just want a late night candy run with Drew. I am done playing for the night, but what did you get? I would like to know. I want to live through you and your candy, even though I have some candy right next to me. What's your go-to candy when you go on a candy run? While I find who we are rating tonight. Ooh, what? Lyrica, where do you get those? I want those. That sounds so good. Ooh, yeah, gummy worms. Same. Ooh, I'm gonna have to get some of those. That sounds incredible. Sweet Tart Ropes have a rainbow one out right now, and I compulsively try new gummy candy. Right. Oh, random, but is your nose ring new? I never noticed it before, but I love it. Yeah, I've had this since March, but I got some new ones. So I had, when I first got it, obviously you have the like post in there. And then the last few months I've had just a silver one, but this one's like blue. Can't really see it, but it's a little darker. Thank you. Oh, really? Yeah, it's because I'm always facing this way. I should have, not that I should have gotten it because it would be more noticeable, but you can't see it on camera. At least with this setup. That's funny. Yeah.